Good evening and welcome to a new segment we like to call Must Watch. And in this section, what I like to do is I like to take a movie from my library, a movie that maybe most people haven't seen, and kind of give you a explanation of it, why you should watch it, and pretty much just give you a little insight. I may get into spoilers for a little bit if you haven't, seen the movie. Watch it, this review maybe for like the first 5 minutes and then kind of turn it off. This is Ross, by the way.
How's it going?
He is a friend of mine. He's going to be joining me on a couple reviews, kind of my special ones. And I brought him here for the first one so he can kind of, get himself acquainted on the camera. This is probably his first time actually on camera, isn't it?
Yeah, it's first time in my webcast here.
So he'll join me in kind of my more special reviews, maybe, if I'm really in a bad mood with a movie like we just went to see or something, we'll both give our thoughts. But today we'll start off with a movie that I love. It's one of my favorites. It's a movie that he likes, and hopefully you'll like it too. It is American Psycho. Got that right there. Christian Bale movie. As Ross knows, and as many of my friends know, I am a Christian Bale mark. So I'm probably going to bring up a couple of Christian Bale movies in this one. We're not, I mean, I'll be honest with you, Christian Bale, he's my favorite actor, but at the same time, I don't like Christian Bale. But anyway, let's dive into American Psycho. In this film, Christian Bale plays the main character in Patrick Bateman. Now, Patrick Bateman plays a Wall Street vice president for a company, and basically he plays a psycho. He spends most of his day at work. Body is in great shape. He's a very well-toned guy, very likable guy. Also, I mean, he's a lot of women refer to him as the boy next door. Not very well liked among his co-workers, but basically he's just he's Patrick Bateman. Now, a lot of people would identify with his character and maybe say that he's cool, or maybe even say like personality or even a ladies' man. But really, I mean, that's not the point. The movie would start out with, it shows him at a restaurant, and it kind of gives you a look at the 1980s and basically his world. And in his world, a lot of people look alike. A lot of people go to the same barber, they wear the same kind of clothes, they have the same kind of hairstyle. So that actually does play an integral part in the end. So, but as the movie, starts off, we get an introduction of Patrick Bateman, and he kind of explains to you, gets his, into his opinionate, and, what would you call it?
Like he explains his roles, like his role and his personality. He really fits the roles like really good though.
Christian Bale does do a great job in this role. It's really, just amazing how he can play like such a sleazeball. I love the first line where he starts out as kind of like a, I want to say he just starts out like a normal rich kind of guy who's just very snobby. But I remember the first scene where he kind of says his first line where he's at the bar and he hands the lady the tickets and she goes, "It's a cash bar, it'll be $25." She turns around to get the drinks and he just looks at her and he goes, "You're a fucking ugly bitch. I'm gonna stab you to death and play around with your blood." That was the first scene, and I love it when she turns back around. He just gives her like a smirk, like a smile, like thanks. The movie does go on to have him explain basically his morning routine, and I remember I watched this with my mom the one time because she wanted to watch it. She thought he was gay because he's explained like what he does to his face to make himself look young and all this. It really is kind of funny, but he explains that how inside, I mean, there really isn't anything. The only thing that motivates him is greed, lust, and he's a very jealous person. It's actually during the scene where they show each other's business cards, you see jealousy in him. And it's actually, a lot of non-fans or fans who don't really get it would feel like, why is he overreacting over a business card? But I think, that shows a very jealous side, that he wants the best at everything.
Or maybe kind of like he put his whole like like his whole role. He really got into each thing. So he changed really good with each part of it. Like he got into everything.
You know what Christian Bale tries to do in this movie, and as the movie progresses, you know, he sees like he explains that his mask of sanity is about to slip, and one of the important characters is Paul Allen. In the book, if you read the book, his name is Paul Owen, but they switch it to Allen. Allen's the hotshot guy. He has the Fisher account. He has the really nice apartment, and you know, he's basically the most successful guy there, and everybody wants to be him. I mean, you all had that experience, like, you know, with somebody, but Patrick has kind of an obsession with him. What's funny is that Paul Allen actually misinterprets him for Marcus Halberstrand, and it's funny that Patrick just, you know, goes with it. He just goes with it and tries to, because he wants to find out how he got ass kisser. But you know, a lot of people don't know this side of him. And I bet if a lot of people knew this side of him, they probably wouldn't, you know, mess with him. Another scene that a lot of people, what this differentiates from the book from the movie. In the book, if you read it, it's very hard to find because it's actually banned in a lot of countries. And probably the reason why, I remember a lot of protesters said that it would give a lot of men ideas to kill women. But I didn't really, I mean, there wasn't like, you know, people who read it had this huge, you know, just started having this complete disrespect for women and started killing them unmercifully. But in the book, it emphasized much on homeless people. In the movie, he does kill one homeless people, Al. He kills one homeless person. He does mention later on that he did kill maybe a couple of more. Basically, it was just, you know, kind of to show that I'm better than you. I mean, that was his idea of getting rid of the problem with the homeless problem, just to kill him. The one scene I kind of like is when he kind of introduces you to all the characters that are going to be vital in the movie. When they're at the dinner table, and one of the guys that I find it funny, Lewis, the gay guy. We actually find out later that he does that. The best is actually when he does come on to Patrick Bateman. But we'll get into that a little bit later on. In case you haven't noticed, I have been getting into spoilers. So, but, you know, I hope that you have at least seen this movie before you watched it, or at least, you know, get my recommendation on it before you get into it. It is a very great movie. Let's get into his first scene. Now, cuts to the one night where he decides to go up and pick up a hooker. Picks her up and then calls a girl from the escort service who does couples. And this is where he gets into a second, you know, preaching of Phil Collins. First he did Huey Lewis in the news, then he did Phil Collins, and he just, you know, I love the expressions of the women in this scene because they're looking at him like he's such a dork, just, you know, going on and on about this. It really is funny, but I mean, yet at the same time, that's just his character, but he does it so well that that's not Christian Bale in this movie. That's Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, because then he turns back into the role he's making him do weird things, but the, you know.
And you know, finally he gets them into the bedroom, and you know, I love it when he asks the one girl, the red hair girl, I can't remember her name, to have make the, you know, to dance and, you know, let the words, you know, make you with a beat, and he tells the other girl, Christy, to get on her knees. So, oh, it's Serena. So Serena can see your asshole, and I love it when he, you know, he gets out the camera, he's checking it, and he goes, Serena, don't just stare at it, eat it. And I love it, like, you know, because he films like him having sex with them, and he's, you know, he's posing, and he's like, you know, going, like, you know, look at the camera, and he's just, you know, just in his own little world where